Hi everybody. Today I'm going to go over some of the top questions that I think will help you pass the California real estate exam. These are not the exact questions you will see on your exam, but they are very similar as they are based upon feedback from students who take the exam and from our experience teaching for this exam for many years. So with all that knowledge, we put together questions that go over the concepts that you need to know that we think are very similar to what you're going to see on the exam. So without further ado, let's go over some questions that I think will really help you pass the California real estate exam. Who is responsible for disclosing a Melloroos tax to the buyer? A, broker, B, seller, C, agent, or D, escrow? The answer is seller. Melloroos taxes must be disclosed by the seller. Whenever there is a real estate sales transaction, it must be reported to the Internal Revenue Service by the A, agent, B, seller, C, broker, or D, escrow. Answer is D, escrow. Escrow reports to IRS on their respective sales transactions. Remember, they're the ones writing the checks at the end of the day. Which of the following would create a dual agency situation? A, broker has two simultaneous escrows on the same property. B, two brokers have listings on the same property. C, listing brokers is cooperating with the selling broker. D, two agents working under a broker representing both buyer and seller in the same transaction. And the answer is D. Two agents working under a broker representing the buyer and the seller in the same transactions. In-house sales often give rise to unintended dual agency. Under California law, the real estate commissioner has the authority to do which of the following? A, promulgate rules and regulations to enforce the California real estate laws. B, revoke an unrestricted license without a hearing. C, impose fines, revoke licenses, and promulgate rules and regulations. D, impose fines on any real estate license who is convicted of fraudulent activities. And the answer is C. Impose fines, revoke licenses, and promulgate rules and regulations. As head of the California Department of Real Estate, the Commissioner promulgates rules and regulations in the California Code regulations that essentially have the effect of law. The Commissioner also has the sole authority to grant, limit, suspend, or revoke real estate licenses in the state of California. Not even the courts have this power. In assessing the profitability of a real estate office, the broker must consider desk cost. Which answer best describes how to calculate desk cost? A, divide the total cost of rent, utilities, advertising by the number of salespersons. B, calculate the gross profit for the office less the expenses divided by the number of salespersons. C, calculate the cost of all desks. D, divide the total operating expenses of the office, including salaries, rent, insurance, etc., by the number of salespersons. And the answer is D. Divide the total operating expense of the office, including salaries, rent, insurance, etc., by the number of salespersons. Desk costs are total operating expenses of a broker's office divided by the total number of salespersons in that same office. A subordination clause in a trust deed. A, permits the loan to be paid off ahead of schedule. B, allows for a periodic renegotiation and adjustment of the loan terms. C, prohibits the trustor from making an additional loan against the property before the trust deed is paid off. Or D, gives priority to a more recent lien recorded against the property. And the answer is D. gives priority to a more recent lien recorded against the property. A subordination clause permits a mortgage recorded more recently to take priority over a loan recorded earlier, when both loans place liens on the same property. The prospective purchaser may withdraw the offer at any time before the seller's acceptance of an offer, A, unless the offer states that is irrevocable, B, for any reason, C, provided the offeree has breached the offer, or D, provided the offer is not supported deposit. The answer is B, for any reason. Buyer may cancel for any reason prior to acceptance. When a real estate agent acts exclusively as a buyer's agent, he can A, present offers to the seller or to a seller's agent, B, present offers to a family member of the seller, C, present offers to the seller, or D, present offers based upon what other buyers have offered. And the answer is A, present offers to the seller or to the seller's agent. An agent who represents the buyer exclusively may present an offer to the seller if there is no agent or to the seller's agent. Which of the following run with the land? A, covenants. B, all the other options are correct. C, easements, or D, stock and mutual water company. The answer is all of the other options are correct. Appurtenances are said to run with the land, and they require no separate conveyance. Appurtenances include easements, stock and mutual water company, covenants, and minerals. Because they run with the land, they are considered real property. What are the rights of a borrower who falls 2 months behind in making his or her trust deed payments? He or she has no rights and will lose the property. He or she has the right of refinance. He or she has the right of redemption, or he or she has the right of reinstatement. The answer is D. He or she has the right of reinstatement. Once back payments and fees are paid, reinstatement means the loan will continue as if the borrower has never been late. When a title company issues a California standard policy of title insurance, the policy When a title company issues a California standard policy of title insurance, the policy holder is insured against loss which occurs because of A, defect in the chain of title already known by the insured prior to the insurance of the policy, B, forgery in the chain of recorded title, C, the right of the parties in possession, or D, unrecorded liens and encumbrances which are not disclosed by the public records. And the answer is B, forgery in the chain of recorded title. Standard policy in title insurance protects against forgery and improper delivery. However, it does not include a survey or on-site inspection. Which of the following is not required for a contract to be legally binding? A, legal capacity, B, mutual consent, C, proper writing, or D, lawful object. The answer is C, proper writing. Not all contracts need to be in writing to be legal and enforceable. However, certain types of contracts, including those for real estate transactions, do need to be in writing, in part because of the dollar amounts typically involved, but more importantly, to maintain a clear, documented title history. A title company can make the search by searching the records of the A, Federal Land Office, B, County Recorder's Office, C, County Clerk's Office, or D, County Recorder, Federal Land, and County Clerk's Office. The answer is D, County Recorder, Federal Land, and County Clerk's Office. A title search is a review of all recorded documents affecting a specific piece of property to determine the present condition of title. Joe is a listing agent. Joe cannot legally answer his seller's questions about the buyer's race due to the A. Jones-Mayer Act, B. Rumford Act, C. Sherman Antitrust Act, or D. Listing Application Act. And the answer is B. Rumford Act. The Rumford Fair Housing Act was passed in 1963 by the California legislature to help end racial discrimination by property owners and landlords who refuse to rent or sell their property to people based on race. The title to real estate passes when a valid deed is A. filmed and microformed, B. signed and recorded, C. executed and mailed, or D. delivered and accepted. And the answer is D. delivered and accepted. Deeds provide evidence of the transfer of title of real property from a grantor to a grantee. To successfully convey a property, a deed must have a grantor that is legally competent. The deed must be delivered and accepted. It must contain a granting clause or action clause. A deed does not need to be acknowledged or recorded to be valid. Mechanics liens are based on A, the California Civil Code, B, the Business and Professions Code, C, Federal Mechanics Lien Law, or D, English Common Law. And the answer is A, the California Civil Code. In California, mechanics lien law is statutory law which contains the California Civil Code. An impound or reserve account most benefits whom? A, the lender, B, the trustor, C, the borrower, or D, the trustee. And the answer is the lender. Also known as escrow accounts, impound accounts accumulate funds from closing costs and monthly payments to ensure that property taxes and home insurance are kept current. Which of these properties are exempt from paying real estate taxes? A, shopping centers, B, educational institutions, C, industrial parks, or D, apartment complexes? The answer is B, educational institutions. Some institutions in California are exempt from paying property taxes, including nonprofit educational institutions, religious institutions, hospitals, and charitable organizations. A grandfather grants a life estate to his grandson and stipulates that on the grandson's death, the title of the property will pass to his son-in-law. The second estate is called A, an estate for years, B, a remainder, C, a reversion, or D, an estate at sufferance. The answer is B, a remainder. A life estate is a type of property ownership typically established by a deed, which is often used to avoid probate and immediately transfer property to an heir or remainderment at the time of death. The remainder is the future interest conveyed to the remainderment in the deed. When an agent or property manager signs a contract to manage an owner's property, that person becomes A, lessor, B, trustee, C, fiduciary, or D, receiver. And the answer is C, fiduciary. A fiduciary is a person who holds a legal or ethical relationship of trust with one or more of the parties. Typically, fiduciary prudently takes care of money, obligations, or other assets for someone else. This applies to real estate agents as well as property managers. The property owner is the client, so that agent property manager is now a fiduciary. A broker and seller terminate the listing contract. An offer is received in the mail by the broker after the termination of the listing contract. Their offer is for the full price and includes all of the terms and conditions of the seller. Why is this not a valid contract? A, no earnest money has been enclosed. B, there is no consideration involved. C, no acceptance has been given. Or D, there's no current listing agreement. And the answer is no acceptance has been given. It is not being presented or accepted by the owner. Remember, contracts are not valid until both parties agree. However, even though the listing agreement has expired, the offer should be presented if it's accepted and the transaction closes. The broker will generally be entitled to his or her full commission. Which of the following can a property owner expect after sewer lines are installed in front of his or her property? A, general assessment. B, ordinary assessment. C, supplemental assessment. Or D, special assessment. And the answer is D, special assessment. A special assessment is a tax imposed against only those specific parcels of realty that will benefit from a proposed public environment, as opposed to general tax on the entire community. Sarah has just qualified for a salesperson's license. How much time does she have to file her application to practice? A, 1 year from the date she passed the exam. B, 1 year from the date she was notified she passed the exam. C, 2 years from the date she was notified she had passed the exam. Or D, 2 years from the date she passed the exam. And the answer is B, 1 year from the date she passed the exam. Although most people who pass the exam are anxious to get their license and begin practicing real estate, the rules do allow up to 1 year to make the application. A real estate license submits a license renewal application, but his name is on a list of obligors who have not complied with a court-ordered payment of child support. Which of the following is most nearly correct? A, the renewal will be approved, but the license will be suspended until he makes up the delinquent amount. B, the license cannot be renewed until he has paid the delinquent amount. C, temporary renewal will be issued, but the licensee must pay the delinquent amount within 150 days. Or D, the license will be renewed for a 1 year term only unless the licensee submits proof from the district attorney that the debt has been paid. And the answer is C. A temporary renewal will be issued, but the licensee must pay the delinquent amount within 150 days. When a deposit receipt on the sale of the house states that the property is being sold as is, it A, provides that the buyer should beware. B, also requires a real estate transfer disclosure statement. C, does not require a real estate transfer disclosure statement. Or D, means nothing is warranted. The answer is B, also requires a real estate transfer disclosure statement. Transfer disclosure statement is required of the seller even if sold as is for sale of a residential building up to 4 units. If the TDS is amended by the buyer, has 3 days to rescind out of the contract. If the TDS is defective, the buyer has 2 years to sue the seller. The seller should reveal all known defects but not repairs that are up to the building code on the TDS. The licensee can never complete the seller's portion of the TDS. Which of the following is required to operate as an advance fee rental agreement? A, a real estate broker's license. B, a written contract with prospective tenants. C, a real estate salesperson's license. Or D, access to the multiple listing service. The answer is B, a written contract with prospective tenants. The advance fee rental agent collects a fee in advance from prospective tenants to find them suitable rental properties. An advance fee rental agreement must have a prepaid rental listing service license. If the rental agent is a licensed broker, they are exempt from the requirement to have the PRLS license. PRLS contracts must be written and approved by the real estate commissioner. Note this question asks which option is required. While having a real estate broker's license allows a person to operate as an advance fee rental agent, it is not required because some can have a PRLS license instead. As long as it is specified as part of his or her duties, it is legal for an unlicensed salary assistant to solicit listings for the broker. A, yes, if it is part of a written job description. B, no active participation in real estate transactions require a license. C, no, soliciting listings is the exclusive responsibility of the broker. Or D, yes, because she's being paid a salary, not a commission. And the answer is B. No, active participation in a real estate transaction requires a license. Tasks such as answering phones or making copies are considered support and don't require any real estate license or coursework. Unlicensed assistants can even cold call potential clients to find out if they're interested in brokerage services, but actually soliciting listings or providing information about a property or part of the transaction process must be referred to a licensed real estate professionals.